Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander, and this is Dish About the Dish, where the foods we eat tell the stories of our lives. And joining me today is author Brent Archer. Oh my gosh, that's way more difficult to say than it should be. So let's go. Brent, sir, hello.
Hello!
Welcome to my basement.
Why, thank you. It's lovely to be here.
So I love asking people who have traveled this question, which is, what is your most memorable meal? And it can be memorable for any reason.
So you had warned me that this question was coming. So I went back into the archive.
Oh, much.
So on July 2nd of 2016, I was at this wonderful chateau in the Loire Valley.
Ooh, okay.
And it was celebrating a christening for my dear friend's son. So they had gone in 2010 to get married at the chateau, and then the Countess insisted that the child come back and be christened in their chapel.
That is so wonderful.
So we went, and they did this massive dinner for us. And because I'm a food junkie, I wrote it all down.
Yeah.
So I even wrote it in the courses. Got ready for the party, blah, blah, blah. So the first course was pâté de foie gras.
Okay.
With a balsamic reduction, asparagus cake, and asparagus slices, paired with a Touraine Sauvignon.
Wow.
Because of course it's the Loire Valley, so you pair everything.
Yes, everything, and it's very French. Very
And then
French.
there was this, and speaking of very French, there was this gorgeous accordion player that came in, blonde, beautiful French man in his at least early 30s, if not younger, coming to serenade the tables. And played 30s music, which was even more wonderful because I love that era of music. Let's see, second course, tomatoes stuffed with mushrooms, mushroom gravy over spiced duck round steak.
Ooh, and this was second course.
This is the second course. A cooked fig.
Oh, okay.
And a vegetable risotto. And it was paired with a Saint Amour Bourgeois. And it was so funny, the Count came around and said, I'm going to change your mind about Bourgeois. And I'm like, I didn't know it needed to be changed because I don't drink the Nouveau Bourgeois. I drink the good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. The third course was the salad and cheese course. It's a chèvre with apple and crostini on a bed of lettuce.
Sounds delightful. That would be me, and that would be done. I would be good. I'd go, thank you. This was delightful.
Right. That wasn't we hadn't even gotten to the main course yet. Oh no, I guess we did. Sorry, the duck was the main course. Now we are at the dessert course.
Excellent.
There was a lemon curd gâteau covered in meringue and topped with strawberry.
Excellent.
Oh my gosh. And I still, after 5 years, I can still remember this thing. It was so yummy.
That sounds incredible. And it also sounds like you were in an amazing location.
Yes.
To enjoy it.
If you ever get a chance, look up Chateau de la Barre, Barre, in the Loire Valley. And it is actually a bed and breakfast. And you can go stay there.
Excellent.
And the Count, it passes through his family all the way back to 14 something. And his ancestor married into the family that owned it before that.
Oh, okay.
So married the daughter, so it's not the male line before that.
What I find fascinating about places like that is that, they've gone back to 1400 years. Do you know how much has happened in the world?
Oh, yeah.
To be able to still stand there and go, we are still here. That, I always find things like that amazing. Just amazing how much they've weathered and seen.
Well, he was telling us that, so the nobility during the Reign of Terror, Napoleon times, a lot of them got their heads chopped off. And apparently this dude's ancestor played both sides of the fence. So when one would come through, oh no, I'm on your side. I'm totally on your side. And then the other side would come through. No, I was, I'm always been with you.
Right.
And they managed not only to keep their heads, but they kept all their land and their house.
That's amazing because they didn't have Facebook and the receipts.
Exactly.
Can you imagine? That would not happen now at all.
Yeah, somebody get out their phone and go, I don't think so. Your posts say.
Here's your tweet from 1682.
Right.
That'd be amazing. So do you work your love of food into your books at all?
Oh, yes.
Because I noticed your books are most like police officers and lawyers and whatnot. And I'm like, where's the chef? No.
Actually, book 6, he does learn how to cook.
Oh, excellent.
That's one of the things. But no, I put a lot of food in my books. My editor says that she's always hungry after she's done reading my books. And I'm like, good, that was the goal.
Do you find that difficult to fit, like this character would eat this kind of cuisine, or they would eat, like for example, my cowboys, I always have to remember, if I include fish, that's going to be something that's caught locally,
right?
Trout from the pond. It's not going to be a tuna.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I try to be mindful of what would be eaten in that spot. Most of the stories take place in Seattle, so I mean it's pretty easy to figure out. But the one I'm currently writing is set in Auckland.
Oh, nice.
And it's set during the holiday season. And so today I've been looking up, okay, they're out there grilling on the Barbie, right? Mm-hmm. So what would mom be making inside the house while dad's out minding the grill? And there are these sweet potatoes and that they slice up and make homemade chips out of.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, that's what she's going to have with all the grilled meats.
Right, exactly.
So I try to be mindful of what's local and what people would be normally eating.
And now you work at a wine shop.
I do.
Is that something you've always wanted to do? Not always wanted to, but go, you know what? I would love to spend some time with my friends, the grapes.
Yes, actually, it's funny. So I live in West Seattle, and West Seattle has at South Seattle Community College, well, I guess South Seattle College now, excuse me. They have a wine program. It's actually the Northwest Wine Academy. Ever since that went in, I'm like, I would love to take courses. And so when this opportunity at the wine shop fell into my lap, I was like, heck yeah, I'll do that. It's research, if nothing else.
During the pandemic, was it busy or not quite as busy?
So I just started in August, but they did delivery for a while, and it was a pretty brisk business. But they didn't have anyone come into the shop, but you could call in. She would deliver, like for $10, or you could do a curbside pickup.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So when I was a youngster, I never drank wine because I thought, I don't like wine. I don't like wine, until I realized, looking at the number of bottles, like maybe I just haven't tried the right wine. Mm-hmm. So I started tasting things here and there until I found the few that I'm like, okay, you're my pods. You're my people. So what would you say to somebody who hasn't tried wine? Where should they start?
Wow. I would say start with, well, decide if you like a fruitier wine or a dry wine or a really sweet wine. If you want a really sweet wine, probably, start with an ice wine or a port and see if you like that, and then move drier if you're not as excited. If you want something a little more dry, I would actually say to start with a dry white. Mm-hmm. Because the reds can be really robust and really tanniny or really oaky. Mm-hmm. And that's a really intense hit on your palate. Mm-hmm. And you'd be like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, no. So I have a cousin that lived with us for a while, and he was a super taster.
Wow.
He's a super taster. And so he was like, no, I don't want wine. It just tastes like rubbing alcohol. It was so yucky. But he's starting to drink wine. And it's, he's trying things that are not so abrasive on his palate.
Because I enjoy the whites more. However, I can find a couple of reds that I like, but I do find I like smelling reds.
Yes.
More than drinking them.
Yeah.
I'll with a glass of wine and I'll just go for a long, long time, and then I'll slowly sip it. But I just like the smell more than the taste. And I had a friend describe a Chardonnay once as buttery, and I couldn't do it after that. I was like,
Well, there is a thing called ABC, anything but Chardonnay.
Anything but Chardonnay. That's right.
So there are a lot of people that do not like a Chard. Yes. But every once in a while, we just tasted one at the shop actually last week that people were surprised to find out it was a Chardonnay.
Oh.
because it was actually quite nice.
Interesting. So,
but I have tried some of those Chardonnays that are just like, no. Yeah.
It's been many, many years, but when I went to Scotland last, you're on the plane, 14 hours, and they serve dinner, and they're like, oh, would you like some wine? And I said, sure, what would you have? What do you have? And they're like, red and white. And I go, great, what kind? And you went, red and white. And I was like, okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I was like,
this is our house red, and this is our airplane red, and our airplane white.
Yeah, because if it was a Cabernet, I was like, no, thank you, absolutely not, because I'm not into that. But I just like, white will probably be more my suit if it's just white.
Yeah.
So if somebody grew up, for example, on Boone's Farm, where would you segue them?
So they grew up on Boone's Farm? What?
You never heard of Boone's Farm?
No.
Boone's Farm. Oh my gosh, it's the most redneck. It's so red, it's blistered, wet wine. I mean,
gotcha.
Strawberry Hill, and oh my gosh, I can't remember. We as kids would drink the as kids, like 18, like, oh, we'd sneak the Boone's Farm. It is the original. It was this is before screw tops were not considered.
Oh yeah.
So this was old school, and like sometimes you would help it by adding Dr. Pepper. Oh my gosh, if I see you next, I'm bringing you a bottle of Boone's Farm.
Oh my God, and bring me a Dr. Pepper.
So yeah, so imagine the Kool-Aid of wines.
Gotcha, the Kool-Aid of wine. Oh my God.
How would you upgrade someone?
Oh wow. Well, that would be someone that sounds like that would have a pretty sweet tooth, especially if you put the Dr. Pepper in it.
Uh-huh.
I would say probably something maybe like a rosé.
Oh, there you go.
Like some sort of rosé.
I could see that.
Yeah. And
totally
maybe something on the sweeter end, but not like really, really sweet. Or something so there's a difference between sweet and floral. Some people would be, or fruity, excuse me, sweet and fruity. Some people would be like, oh, this is sweet. And you're like, no, it's actually pretty dry wine. It's just, it's got some of the bouquet is floral or fruity. And it's like you're eating a strawberry. And there are some wines that you drink and it's like, wow, I just had a strawberry in my wine.
Right.
and you didn't, but I actually tasted one in Oregon last month that was exactly like that, and it was really good. And it was a rosé made with Pinot Noir grapes.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. It was
interesting. I had a rosé a while ago, and I can't remember what it was, but it was from France, sold to me by a Frenchman, but it was quite delicious. Pull out what it was. The local restaurant to me was having a wine tasting. I went, sure, and did the flights, and then they were selling the bottles, and I went, I'm supporting my local people. Here's my $30. There you go.
And you got some wine out of it.
I know, I should have taken a picture of the label so I can remember. That's what I forget to do. If it's something new to me that I don't see very often, take a picture of it.
Exactly.
Later what it was, because you can't go to somebody like you and say, it was a black label. Help me find this wine, Brent. It's a black label with gold writing.
Exactly.
How many of those do you get? How many of those questions?
Oh yeah, there's it's really helpful when someone can bring in a picture of the label, but there have been some people that are like, yeah, this wine, and it had a blue label. There are a lot of wines with the blue label. Can you narrow it down for me? It's like, bring it in.
I think it was from California. Great.
Yeah. Bring it in. Was it red or white? I think it was red.
No, it's red. Well, that was a good night they had if they couldn't remember if they were drinking red or white.
Exactly.
That's crazy. So you are served on the Seattle Board of Romance Writers for a couple of years, and you guys just finished your conference.
Mm-hmm.
What was something this conference that you learned that might have surprised you, or you took away, or was one of those aha, like, oh, that's right, I got to remember to do this moment?
It was like, get a street team together.
Oh, I hate that. Okay, I understand the concept, but I hate the concept.
Exactly.
I hate that the concept exists.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a great workshop about, and I can even tell you who presented it here on my conference notebook. I'm still pretty old school. I write.
And you
You know,
got, talking about old school, you got old school notebooks. Those look like they've been around forever.
but yeah, it was an excellent workshop. It kind of told you how to.
I love how you got like these old English. You got these old English notebooks. Mine's Wonder Woman, and it's still in the plastic. I got so many of these.
Fabulous! Oh, I love it.
Okay, so your workshop was by
Penny Sanzaveri.
Penny Sanzaveri,
and it was building your street teams,
mm-hmm.
and it was fabulous. I mean, she was like, "Okay, build your fan base, create a plan. Street team involvement, recruit, here's the secrets, and here's what you give them, and do the rewards, engage, and she's got like all these really great steps to kind of help, and it was fabulous. And I'm like, okay, I guess I need to start putting together a street team.
The sad thing, so the one thing is, like, I know Sabrina York did awesome with street teams right off the bat. But then I go, oh, that was 5, 6, 7 years ago. Are street teams still a thing? And it sounds like they are.
Yeah, they're a big thing, actually. And they, what Penny was saying, there you get one person, and that's at least 5 to 10 reader engagements right there. So if you get like 100, you've got, I mean, it just kind of grows exponentially as you get more of your street team, because they're your super fans. They're the ones that will do anything for you. So I need some of them. Help me sell my books, folks.
Yeah, exactly. It just sounds like I'm not so great at the marketing because it's exhausting, and when you have so much energy to put into the writing, well, to gather up more to put in that marketing, well, it's tough. It's tough for everybody, but I'm glad you got something out of it, and hopefully you can put it into practice.
Definitely. And Angela James was another one of the speakers, and she was talking about, if you need to hire somebody, and you think of that, people think of that as like money out, that's an expense.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, it's money in, because it frees up your time. Like you can concentrate on writing and get somebody else that loves to do the marketing, loves to do social media, loves to do this, that, and the other thing, that that's fulfilling for them. It does something for you. You have more time to write.
I've always been of the time is money. If I can't do it, I could either spend 12 hours to learn how to do it, or I can pay somebody and it's done like that. I will pay somebody happily if it saves me time.
Exactly. What she also said was like, don't pull it from your reader. Don't pull one of your readers in.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to do that for you. No, hire a professional, ideally somebody who is outside the romance writer, romance reader, crowd. Just so you have fresh skills and different skills, and they might be able to innovate for you.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you should do this. You should try this. It's really good in this setting. Why don't we try it in this setting? That was another really big takeaway. And I'm like, yeah, I might. We'll see. I mean,
we'll see.
It costs money, and that's the thing. If you don't have the capital to start with, then.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad it was a successful event for you all, especially with the online forum, which was a necessity, not necessarily a want, but you guys made it work.
Right. And, there are people that are like, oh yeah, we really want to be in person. And we all do. I mean, there's so many things that happen outside of the workshops and outside masterclasses. And you can sit over and talk over the rubber chicken, but, and the cardboard desserts, but you make a lot of connections that way. And it is ideal to be in person.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And we will post all of your social media links down in the description below.
Awesome.
And we look forward to seeing you again soon. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I want to again thank Brent for joining us today. And oh my gosh, that dinner he had in France sounds amazing. And now I really, really want to go on a wine tour with him. So again, all of his links to his socials and books are down in the descriptions below. And I'm so glad that you joined us today. Your time is precious, and the fact that you spent it with me, I greatly appreciate it so much. So until next time, y'all, hope to see you again soon.